Stephanie does the medical stuff, I do the money stuff. That's our agreement. So I got a good one. I was thinking, you know when you get like a little gnat in your eye? And it's like, it goes in your eye and you start rubbing it. And then it goes behind your eye. You can't get it out. You just rub it and it goes behind your eye. You know what I'm talking about?
I didn't know that. I thought it was just like the corner.
No, let's just say it gets in there, right? Like the other day, I'm going to the store and it goes in my eye and I rub it and I'm like, oh, that's gone. Yeah, where's it go? Where's it go? Do I just live with it forever? What's going on back there?
Honestly, something I've never thought about. Once it's gone, it's gone.
But that's what I'm saying. Is that protein?
Probably does count towards your macros. Yeah.
I'm counting.
Half a gram.
I'm counting. Hey, welcome to the closing beat, everybody. Happy Wednesday. How you doing out there? We're financial advisors. We do things a little bit differently here, yada, yada. You know us by now, jazzwealth.com. Hope you check us out. And just to prove that I wasn't joking yesterday, here it is. I just want you to see. I'm going to put it right here. Go ahead, take a good look. It's focused in there. $19.05, right? For Chipotle. Just so you know, I didn't get anything crazy. You can see it over there, Cody?
I saw it, yeah. No, I still, again, 2 days in a row, Chipotle slander.
I'm not slandering Chipotle now. I'm just saying, the question says, how are we doing? Let us know at chipotlefeedback.com. I think it's a little pricey. You know?
Double steak, extra guac, large drink. I mean, what do you expect?
I expect like $11. Anyways, I just wanted to show that to you guys. I wasn't kidding. Also, by the way, a classy gentleman, Mr. Mike, right, sends us in this cool. I'm going to leave it just like this, to be honest. Little Louis Armstrong and Oscar Peterson, man, killing it on the piano there. Thank you so much, Mike, for sending that in. We got a new thing going on over here, and I think I'm going to hang it up right over there, man. Just a classy dude sending in that stuff. You don't have to send us stuff. We do appreciate it, though. But I thought that was cool. So brighten up my day a little bit, huh? Anyways, we're going to get started here, talk about the stock market today, because that's what you're here to talk about. And that's what I'd like to talk about. So let's dive into it. Hey, we got debt ceiling. You got the Fed. You got the Evergrand thing that's going on over there. You got COVID. Oh, my, right? All this stuff going on. Well, let's start with the Fed. So the Fed comes out. They basically said as long as September jobs numbers look good, they're going to be looking to start tapering in November. We all kind of expected that, which is fine. Not new news there. They're also reviewing their trading rules to see about maybe tightening things up a little bit. What's to review? I don't get what's to review there. Hey, you shouldn't be allowed to buy stuff if you know that the Fed's just going to go buy the stuff first and then you buy it. I go to jail. If I do that, I go straight to jail. No questions about it. There was an advisor that got like 35 years for doing that, but also stealing the money, so to be fair, he probably deserved it. Also, they're considering digital currency. They just don't know quite how they're going to do it yet. They were doing a study over the summer. I've talked about that. No new news on that, and also that's not new news, the fact that they're considering doing their own digital currency. So we'll see what happens there. You got existing home sales came out this morning, 5.88 million versus 5.86 million expected. The problem is we were at 6 million, and we went to 588. So we were expecting 586, we got 588. So technically it was a beat, but it is lower than previous, so we say existing home sales are lower. And the argument there is that the median price of a new home is like $335,000. So the argument is, hey, you're kind of like your first-time home buyers, they have to sit on the sidelines now. And my argument is, good, let them sit on the sidelines, right? Don't buy a house if it's so ridiculously expensive. Don't spend any of your money right now. I mean, everything's so ridiculously expensive. Don't feel bad for the person that can't buy the house. Let's cheer them on and say, just hold tight. Get yourself a better deal. Don't stress yourself out financially to buy a house. My goodness, people. So we got the S&P here. Well, actually, I'm going to start with the Dow. Let's go to the Dow. Every index gained 1% today besides the Russell. The Russell had a good reversal day. It just continues to be sideways. You know, the small cap stocks are very tough to be involved in. If you have a small cap growth fund, small cap value fund or something in your 401k, if you're in the TSP, if you've got that in there, the lettered fund, they're just going sideways. I don't have nothing to say exciting there other than, hey, today was a strong day. But if you look at the Dow and all the other three major indices, they were positive by the same amount here today. And if we look, I'm going to go over here real quick, just take a quick gander. If we go into the strong stuff today, I want to point out Boeing, great reversal here, possibly putting in a little bit of a low if you're interested in that. Energy is going to be where all the action is today. Energy was, in fact, the best performing sector today. And I got to throw in financials. So in the Dow, you got Chevron. You're going to notice also American Express back above the 50-day. And if we go just a little bit lower, you got Goldman Sachs and JP Morgan. Those were the bigger weighted financials on the financial sector here today. So pretty cool there. No arguments, I think, from anybody in that respect. On the downside, healthcare, biotech, no matter what index you're looking at, that's what you're going to find today. Weakness in United Healthcare was one of the bigger drags on the Dow. Remember, the Dow is price weighted, right? So the higher the price of the stock, the more impact you have on the price movement of the index. So that's why United Healthcare was a big drag today. Also, unfortunately, Amgen and Johnson & Johnson were weak on the day. Those are also higher price stocks, so they did have a little bit of a drag on the market there. If you're playing Guess the Dow, I wonder where well, it's good that we got a bounce, right? So we got a little bit of a bounce, and people can actually maybe not hit the bottom of our list.
Yeah. We got a little space in between the bottom of the list and our leaderboard today. In first, we have a client of ours, Mr. James Willis is in first. After him, we got Doug, Peter, Tony. Tony was the winner last week, so he's feeling himself. He's feeling good. And Justin rounds out the top five.
Did you?
Also, by the way, Mr. Mike, who sent you that record, also sent some protein bars. One of them was the best protein bar I've ever had. No free ads, but very good.
Is that the one I just ate?
Yeah.
Okay.
He also sent those.
Okay, that was really good.
Yeah,
thanks, Mike. That was really good. I've never had one of those before. That was quite tasty. And I'm sorry. Did you just a second ago? Did you just say Tony was feeling himself?
I did. You kind of took it out of context.
I'm pretty sure. I'm still a child.
No, I don't. I think you're the only one who took that out of context.
I'm just saying. I'm still a kid. What am I? 40? Immature.
Understand.
Yeah. You should hear my wife, man. Like. She's a kid, and now that she's not in the medical space really anymore and it has to be all appropriate, she lets them fly, man. I mean, that's funny.
Well, around here we like to keep it professional and buttoned up. So
who says that?
I don't know.
HR. Yeah, Sally on 13, man. She'll come down and get you, bud. You got to watch out for them. All right, well, good luck if you're playing Guess the Dow. Cool game, right? It's a little bit of fun. jazzwealth.com/research. Put your guess in. Promise you, we're not selling any emails. You guys know the drill. I don't have to say this every day. Let's go back to the stock market here. You got the S&P 500. A little bit of a reversal. You know the stats, right? Yesterday was a bit of a blank shot or a false start. False start, right? A little bit of a false start. Today, obviously, the Fed and everything helping out. But to be fair, the gains in the market were already there before the Fed. If you look, what happened when the Fed came out, just the normal Fed time volatility. Other than that, this is it right here. So this is right at the Fed announcement. This is very normal to see this volatility. But if you look, we were already higher for the day. So there was really no impact that the Fed had on the day. So I have no problems with what they said. Nothing was shocking. I'll give them a little credit. They've done a great job of telegraphing what they plan to do so that we already priced that in. I wish they'd talk a little less personally, but that's what you have there. If you do look at the S&P here today, what you're going to find is strong in energy and financials. Look at Apache, strong 7% day on the day today. FANG, one of my favorite oil stocks for the year, 5.5% gain on the day. And Devon, if you look at Devon Energy, darn near about to break out. I'm going to zoom out just a little bit for you there. Also, at gaming stocks, I didn't catch what the news was on that one. You got MGM higher by 6%. Where's Penn? Penn was in there. I know that's a favorite for Cody, up 5% in one day. I'm not sure what the news was. Caesars also 4.6%. And keep in mind, these guys are selling a boatload of stock too. There's a lot of companies actually selling stock on these rallies. So we'll see what happens. And utility is going to be on the downside, right? So if you're looking over here, where are we going? Did I? You can see it. Yeah. So Evergy, you got one of the utilities down here on the day, almost back to new lows. I want to point out energy as well. Sharp decline here, very much in line with the utility sector. So look at the utilities. If you like pullbacks, you're finding them in utilities. If you're a short-term trader or you like playing options, little directional bets and stuff, utilities are giving you the most action here in the short term. And then today it was just kind of the regulars for the weakness. Hormel hitting a new low there. Dollar Tree again. I think it also hit a new low, but all the weakness that was already in the market stays in the market. That's what you have going on there. All right, as far as the sectors here for today, you got all the sectors in the, almost all the sectors in the green. Utilities did technically just at the last second tick lower on the day, barely. But not a big deal there. If you're looking, you're going to find energy, and I want to cover something a little bit cool here with you in a second. And financials are the leaders in terms of that today. Now, we know that the market broke the 50-day moving average. Here's your lesson of the day. We know the markets broke the 50-day moving average, but if we were to look at the sectors, how bad was it or is it? So if you're looking at we always talk about the market, the sectors, and the stocks. So we always do this every day. So we have the S&P 500, the 11 sectors in the S&P 500. Out of those, let's zoom in a little bit and see like which stocks broke below the 50-day, but I can't go through all of them in one shot. So we have to find a real simple way to do this. And here's what we're going to do. Hang with me. So here is a breakdown sector-wise of stocks above their 50-day currently versus, below their 50-day versus what happened 5 days ago, because we just had this big move. So I'm going to start right here in the middle because I put the S&P 500 as well. Currently we have 34, let's call it 35% of the S&P 500 is below its 50-day. Now you remember the other day I mentioned that it was like 25%, so it was really strong when we were sitting at those highs. Now we find ourselves with nearly 50% of stocks in the S&P below their 50-day. Now from here, go left and right, and you'll see the individual sectors that make up the S&P 500. I'm going to go all the way to the left because that's one of our bigger moves. Then I'm going to go all the way to the right. So energy currently has 57% of the stocks below the 50-day. Just 1 week ago, 5 days ago, same day but last week, we had 27% of the stocks below their 50-day. So one of the bigger moves here if you're looking for pullbacks. What's kind of fascinating is if you look over here, even though we've shown some weak utility stocks, right now we have 17% below the 50-day. Just 5 days ago, we had 67%. Now, here, first of all, this can be misleading. So look at utilities real quick, because if you're looking for ideas, you probably just looked at that and said, oh my God, I'm going to go look for opportunity in the utility sector. Well, okay, utilities have pulled back below the blue line, which is a 50-day, but many of them just barely broke through. So they were hovering there to begin with, and then they broke through the very next, and now currently have just barely broke back above. So I almost want to say discount that for a second, if you will, because that number is going to be a little bit misleading as you start to break through the various sectors there. But look at the changes in some of these. Below the 50-day, 55%. Last 5 days, 37%. So if the black is higher than the blue, basically we're just saying there's been a big change. But it really wasn't that bad across many of the sectors. We actually, over the last 5 days, had more stocks trade back above their 50-day than we would have thought, right? If you'd look at the S&P 500, you'd assumed, holy cow, I mean, this is just a disaster. We broke the 50-day, all these stocks broke the 50-day, but break it down by sector and you can actually start to say, okay, I see something here. I get the idea of what's happening in utilities and energy, our far out extremes. Now, let's go find the stocks that are strong there, stocks that are nowhere near their 50-day, or stocks that are well below. I know people like to do it differently. Some like the strength, some like to pick on weakness. So that's a quick way to just kind of dive in there and take what would be 505 different stocks, break it down into 11 little visual pieces, and then from there go, I'm going to pick on utilities and find some new opportunity there. So really cool. Now, the most overbought stocks in a handful of these sectors. Let's go through energy here real quick because I did make a little bit of a list. Most overbought stocks are going to be ConocoPhillips. This would be an example of strength. So although there's been that change in energy, look at ConocoPhillips. Wants nothing to do with the 50-day. It's moving away there, so it makes it overbought relative to the other stocks in the sector, of course. And then you got Cabot Oil. This one just refuses to pull back. So these would be your stronger stocks in that sector. If we go to the weaker stocks, what did I have? National? Yeah, National Oil Well. So this one of the more oversold ones. And then Kinder Morgan, I believe, was the other. Downtrend, staying weak, seems to refuse to want to kind of come out of this downtrend, to give you an idea of what things look like there. What other sectors can we look at? Well, actually, let's look at the S&P 500. So in the S&P 500, ConocoPhillips, one of the most overbought, and then Gallagher also refuses to pull back, right? And Insurer there, very strong. Oversold on the downside for the S&P, EA Sports going to win this one all day long, right? If you see the, I always say EA Sports, I'm sorry, it's Electronic Arts. It used to be, the ticker symbol used to be ERTS, and we would just say ERTS. That was how it was, but that's a lesson for those of you that haven't been around for a while. Anyways, most oversold stock there, and what was the other one? That's pretty much it. Globe Life is extended, but I just want to point that out for you. What we'll do is we'll start going through the various sectors each day to kind of see what's overbought, oversold. There are no overbought stocks in the utility sector, but the most oversold, I believe, is Duke. Duke right to the 200-day moving average, and American Electric just breaking below. So if you're looking for those pullbacks inside of utilities after just looking at what we were sharing there with you, the big and dramatic change, right? You have the opportunity to find some stocks, right? So kind of cool, just a different way to look at it. I always try to do different things with you and test things out. If you like it, you like it. If you don't, we never touch it again. All right, FedEx in the news here. This is going to be earnings related. We're actually doing new highs, new lows. 5 new highs, new lows, but FedEx is one of those that made new lows. Awesome pullback here, right? It's FedEx, for God's sakes. How often does it make moves like this? That's almost 10% in one day. I took a shot, sold the 220 puts, just figured I'd take a shot on that one. And very extended. Obviously, you don't pretend that it's going to fall down to 220. Let's take a look what would happen here. If it did fall down to 220, you have yourself almost a 30% decline, right? So if you sold, think about it, if you sold some puts here and you said, well, I don't care. If it bounces, that's great. But if it goes to 220 and I can get a 30% discount on it, yeah, let's take a shot, right? So that's going to be all earnings related there. They missed on earnings. If you look at AutoZone, AZO, not AstraZeneca, AutoZone, breaks to new highs here today. This earnings related, got a handful of upgrades on the day. People fixing up cars. Oh, that took O'Reilly along with it. It did make new highs, actually. So O'Reilly going along for the ride with the auto parts suppliers. Nice there. Tractor Supply also hitting new highs, really strong, and kind of a fascinating COVID story, how they navigated COVID there. They got an exclusive deal with Porter Cable as far as tool supplier, so an exclusive deal with them. Nice. And then lastly, you got Dexcom breaking a new highs there. Despite the company continuing to sell lots of stock into these highs, raising money when they can, not when they have to, investors don't care. They want to keep buying the stock. Obviously, a very strong company. I wouldn't say anything negative at the moment about it. And as far as your stocks in the news, it's FedEx. So FedEx missed by 20 cents on earnings, and they lowered guidance going forward, man. That's a little bit tough for FedEx because as they say, as FedEx and UPS go, so goes the world sometimes, right? Because they're moving the packages that we're all clicking to buy. Macy's in the news. They're going to hire 76,000 full and part-time workers for the holiday season. Macy's, really? They want to hire 76,000 people. I'd be interested to know how that goes, right? Do they have trouble doing that? Is that something that they always say that trouble hiring people out there? And we'll see how that goes. Stitch Fix, kind of a rare bounce for this one. Other than the IPO period there, you don't really see lots of big moves for Stitch Fix. This would be the second quarter in a row that they beat on earnings, but this one's a little different because they actually reported a profit. Did lower guidance going forward, but sales are strong there apparently. Good for them. Stitch Fix. Never once have I considered Stitch Fix, but I don't know, maybe look into it. Coinbase up another 1% just today, recovering off of their gap lower the other day when they gave up on their wallet off or their savings account offering, the lending savings account. They're working on a wallet as well. They're also trying to propose regulation to the SEC. Be friends with them now after their little spat before. They're trying to say, hey, here, we'll put some stuff out there. We think this is how it should be regulated. Take it. We did a little bit of the homework for you, and maybe this helps you, maybe it doesn't. And Carnival Cruise Lines is going to continue not to go to Australia. Lots of weird stuff going on in Australia until next year. So no cruises going to Australia for Carnival Cruise. You expect the others will or have already probably responded to that, doing the same thing. So we will see. What else we got? Take your questions if you have any questions, and we'll get out of your way. Tomorrow's earnings, you got Nike, you got Vail Resorts, you got Costco coming out with earnings. And Costco's been lower 2 of the last 8 earnings quarters there the stock's been lower on earnings day. I wouldn't have guessed that, to be honest. And then you got Darden Restaurants trying to break a streak here. It's been lower twice. The last 2 earnings announcements, it's been down. That'll come out in the morning, so we'll see how that goes there. Ralph Lauren paying out 69 cents. Medtronic paying out 63 cents. That's pretty much it. You got the Dreamforce conference going on there, continuing to go on. So we covered the stats on that the other day, just kind of talking how that performs. And let's see what you got. What questions can I happen to help you with? Yeah. FedEx can't beat the USPS. Well, they're cheaper, I'll give you that. You seen some of the shipping prices lately? I love it. Cool. Alibaba. So looking for that little sucker to finally bottom out. That's a tough one, right? Constant downtrend, getting a little more extended lately, so the selling's been picking up just a little bit. That's a tough one. This is I would like to increase our position in this one. We have a very, very small position in this. I'd like to be a part of this discount. I'd tell you, if I had any sort of insight here that made me believe that we were anywhere near a bottom, this is one of the tougher ones to commit to. I'll give you that. I look at it every day thinking, give me something. Give me something. I'll be a part of that. Yeah. DraftKings, they're the dominant force right there, right? Yeah, that's probably why I didn't see it, because I was looking in the S&P. Yeah. Oh, look at that. Thank you for that. By the way, on this Evergrand thing, if you kept seeing it come up in the headlines, it's a non-event, right? It looks like it's doom and gloom. It's going to be like Lehman Brothers. No, it's not. Because if you know anything about how that company is handled in China, just from my background, it's not like we had here. The housing crisis here, the banks were on the hook for those notes. Well, typically, a company in China, the bank would be the biggest investor. The various banks in China would be one of the bigger investors in that company. That's not the case. The majority of the debt is owned by mutual funds all over the planet. So mutual funds will be the ones to take the hit if that gets really bad, and it looks like it's gonna. It will not be one of those systemic sort of banking or financial risks, because they don't really have the exposure. It's been spread out to all the mutual funds and things. So not one to worry about there. I saw that come up a few times. Thought I'd mention that one there. Yeah. Yeah, you got a Roth started there. I like that, man. Get the kids into investing. I like it. And play the game with them, right? Especially if they're really young. If you have a kid, or you're trying to get your kid into investing or saving, don't worry about saying like, oh, here's an index fund, and just don't do that. That's boring. Let them build a mini index fund for them with names that they know. It's not so important that they squeeze out every ounce of performance that the market has to offer while they're just getting started. It's more important that they get into it. Let them come to you with those questions like, I've got these 6 stocks that you set me up with. I know my Apple. I know, maybe not Salesforce, but I know Tesla, the names that they know of. We got a small balance. Let them get excited about that, so when they see on TV something happens, or their friend drives a Tesla, or maybe their parents or whatever, then there's reason for engagement there. Do that first, and then you can get them to slowly say, well, I don't really want to have as much. That Tesla scared me. It dropped a lot the other day. I'll keep a little bit, but I'm going to go over here, and maybe I want to invest in the whole sector that is technology or communication services or whatever. And That makes it more engaging, right? Versus just saying, set up an account, you've got these investments in here you've never heard of, and you're supposed to look at them, Make it exciting. That's what I think anyways. But good job. I like that. Trying to get the little one's dough straight, man. I like it. Oh, win, you're right. Yeah, whoops. You are right. Lots of pullbacks on win. Of course, the Las Vegas Sands. Been nice ones there. Tough ones to get excited about because win is all Macau related. So not only do you got potentially the COVID issue over there, but regulation, man. They're coming after them over there as well. They want a little slice of the dividends that they pay out. So that one's a tough one. But what else do we got here today? Any questions? No questions today. I will make sure I covered everything here because I always make this list. I want it to be good. Yeah, I think I got everything, man. All right. We're going to be back tomorrow to do it all over again. We'll see. What do we have? More volatility maybe for the market. It's an important week. Remember, we want to reverse all that decline as fast as possible. Otherwise, people will start losing interest. Let's see what happens. Enjoy the rest of your day. Talk to you soon. See you.